There you go. All right, Ken's up. Ken says, is there a big difference in results / penalties if I put JSON-LD schema in the header or in the body tag? No, Ken, as far as I'm aware, there's no penalty issue. If you're not spamming, there shouldn't be any penalty issue. And results, it shouldn't matter. JSON-LD can be put anywhere on the page. It could even be put in the post body, right? It doesn't have to be within the header tag or the body tag of the HTML of the page. Like what I'm saying is you can actually put JSON-LD code in the middle of a post, and it's not going to display to a viewer, right? But the code's there, right? If you view page source, you can see it. And in fact, I use a combination for organization markup when you have multiple locations. I use a combination of JSON-LD and then just regular HTML to create the locations page where it lists organization, structured data, or schema markup. And then it lists each of the individual locations, and then and I put that right in the post body of the page, right? So that the JSON-LD is actually in the content body of that page. So I actually add the code in the WYSIWYG editor in WordPress, if that makes sense, instead of in the HTML header or in the theme files or anything like that. I actually add it into the page because it's JSON-LD organization markup at the top, and then it breaks down into individual locations with individual local business markup for each location. But then the locations actually display on the page with the NAP and the Google Map embed, right? And a link over to the site, to the individual location, either site or landing page, if that makes sense. So it's a combination of using just regular JSON-LD markup in the post body with regular HTML, if that makes sense. Another type of structured data markup would be microdata, which is not the recommended method anymore, which is kind of like microdata, or schema in HTML format. But that isn't the recommended method. But JSON-LD can be added, like I said, directly to the post body of the page. So you shouldn't have any issues. Now, as far as difference in results, I don't think that makes any difference at all. But Marco might know better than me. Marco, do you have any input on that?
No, because I mean, if we're just looking at it strictly from what schema.org says and JSON-LD, they do give recommendations, but since it's wrapped in script, right? It'll have a script opening and a script close. The bot will know what to do with that no matter what, because it says, the type application LD plus JSON. I think that it's tagged, so the bot knows how to act on that specific section. Now, if we can look at that from maybe an HTML5 perspective, because if it's data about the page, it should be in the head section. So you can look at not archive, but W3C, schools, and read about head elements and what your head elements should include. And if we're talking about data about that specific page, then it should go in the head section before the closing head tag. So it's two different things. JSON-LD shouldn't matter. It looks like a very short question, very simple, but it can be complicated depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah. I guess
However,
I was going to say, just let me break in for just a moment, because what I was saying about organization markup, that's really not information about the page. It's information about the organization, the corporation, and all of its locations. So it's not really info about the page. It's information about the organization. So I can understand what you're saying, Marco. If it's like JSON-LD markup for like review schema or article markup or something like that, then I would imagine that would be suggested to be. I mean, it might all be suggested to be in the header. I just know that I've done it, and it validates in the structured data testing tool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if Google says it's fine, then it's reading it fine, then it's nothing to worry about.
There you go. It's a good question, Ken.